This is my vocal review. Um, Originally, when I started doing the vocals, I kind of had an idea of having two vocals sort of duplicated, and then having having this first vocal be sort of the main vocal, and then this second vocal kind of being a backing vocal, sort of lower and a bit sort of adding texture to the first vocal. Now, the first vocal um, would have been the main. So I had sort of a channel EQ, a compressor, and a noise gate, just sort of cleaning up and setting up the track so the audio itself on its own sounds good. With a pop vocal here, just sort of removing the lows, increasing the higher end a bit more. A hard vocal, so it makes a properly compressed sound that really tightens up the vocal and keeps it together, which I think is important for this because there's a lot of kind of spoken word rap kind of thing combined with singing. So I think really tightening up that vocal and lifting it up is important. And the noise gate here, um, sort of just removing any unwanted sounds because of its sort of a spoken word kind of like thing. Means background noise can sort of easily creep in because it's not sort of straight, vocal singing. And then originally I had an expander, an exciter, and an ensemble. The expander and exciter sort of crisp up and give sort of lift up the higher ends of the vocal, to sort of lift it above the rest of the track, to sort of accelerate it, um, so it's sort of the main thing, and that's what you're going to hear. Then I add an ensemble, originally Vintage Dimension here, that really kind of um, textured up the track and gave it kind of a lot of character, which I think was good. And then I have two buses here of a chorus and a reverb. The reverb vocal room is just sort of it adds sort of atmosphere and texture to the main vocal and gives it sort of a free space to move about in. And then the chorus just sort of similar to I've got it on vocal backups. That's partly because to sort of give the vocal some texture and sort of thicken it up, combined with the ensemble. And originally, I thought that was when I listened to it on headphones, it sounded very nice. And then I had sort of a second vocal kind of backing it up. I've got these three compressor, noise gate, and then the EQ sort of the same. And then I had an expander and an exciter. The expander I just thought didn't really add anything. Like there wasn't the same expander on the first track, and this second track just didn't really need the expander, and it didn't really add anything new. And then I've got the same reverb as before, just to sort of connect up, the two audio tracks so that they're sort of the same. They feel like it's sort of one thing, not sort of two separate things. And then I have an exciter as well, which sort of while is the same as the second vocal, it adds the vocal edge, but it's slightly different without this expander, so it adds sort of a little bit of variety. Um, and I liked having this sort of lower vocal just to back up the first vocal. But when I went home and listened to it on speakers at home, sort of after the lesson, I was thinking the vocals just sort of sounds too wet. I feel like there was too much going on. So actually, what I did is I took out all three of um, these plugins and just removed the second track altogether. Actually, thinking about it, it seemed like initially a good idea, but after sort of reviewing it, once I got home and listened to it on proper speakers, actually that second vocal just didn't really add anything. It was just sort of there. It didn't. I think it, but partly thinking about it after doing that, is it was just sort of the same as the first track, so it didn't add anything new. So I just then decided just to have one vocal track, um, and take out these three plugins, and then just sort of have the main uh, compressor, EQ, and noise gate combined with sort of a bit of chorus and reverb. Just sort of it's the reverb and chorus still give the vocals some atmosphere and texture, but is but just with the EQ, the compressor, and the noise gate cleaning it up and just making the actual audio sound better, it just sort of it gives the vocal a natural kind of feel, and actually um, I think it gives more of a feel that it's a a normal person, like trying to tell you that their meanings and thoughts, which is a lot of what the song is. And so actually, when you're listening to it, you're completely focusing on the actual lyrics of the song and actually not how the vocals sound. So I think keeping the vocals actually fairly natural and taking this off is probably a better idea, because it relates more to the themes of the song, and hence the name, the definition of I. Is sort of about the vocalist just kind of going on a rant, and really like opening up about their thoughts and stuff. So I think the lyrics are more important than the actual sound of the vocal. So keeping it very natural, it was actually quite a good idea. And that's sort of the process I went through today when I was creating the vocals and sort of editing the vocals for this track.